Now let's take that question, which is the fountainhead of this video. Now here it says that Nishant and Rakesh start simultaneously from 2 points A and B, that is 210 meter apart, and they keep running between the ends infinite time to and fro with a speed of 2 meters per second and 5 meters per second. And we need to find the time taken by them to meet for the third time, right? Now many of you might be doing it with the logic of getting an interval of meeting for the first time and doubling it for the subsequent times, right? But for that logic is not applicable for such question, and the reason for the same is that the larger speed is more than twice the smaller speed. So whenever the speed is in the larger speed is twice or more than the twice of the smaller speed, we cannot apply that particular logic here, right? Now here I'll be discussing the new method, so let me just name it Bodheeprep's GPS method, and this method is applicable throughout. In fact, you will see that there are many difficult questions wherein you can apply this GPS method and get the answers quickly. Now what does this GPS method is? Let us first of all just for some time just forget this particular question and let us just concentrate on what is GPS method. Now here I'll be only taking one person, say Nishant, and the distance AB to be 210 meter and his speed is 2 meter per second. That is the only thing I'll be considering right now, right? So if I let me just draw the timeline. Now this thing need to be understood clearly, so in case if you miss something, I would recommend that you go back, rewind, and again start from where you have not understood, right? So let me take this point to be A and this point to be B, and the track is this distance. Say AB is the track distance, right? And this distance is 210 meters, and Nishant is starting from point A. So here is Nishant and whose speed is 2 meter per second, and he's starting in this direction, I would say, right? So what he will do is that he will go from A to B, and suppose these lines, the parallel lines which I have drawn is the timeline. So this is time t and this is the same time t, right? Now once he starts, say the time is t is equal to 0, and if he goes from A to B, he has to travel a distance of 210 meter, right? So the time taken to cover that distance would be 210 meters divided by 2 meter per second, which is 105 seconds. I hope this is very much clear. This is the time taken by him to reach from A to B, right? Now if I want to draw his trajectory, then the timeline, suppose this is say 105. So parallelly this line is also the same timeline, so I can say this is 105, which is the 105 is the seconds. So if I draw and say a GPS is installed with Nishant, then if I want to track it on a radar, then definitely his tracking would be something like this, right? So as and when he is moving towards B, the time taken is this much, right? The time is also increasing in this way. So the moment he reach point B, the time taken would be 105 seconds, right? This portion is very, very important, and that's why I'm just taking it slowly so that you can understand. The moment he is moving towards B, the time is passing by. So if I want to draw the distance travel and time graph, distance and time graph, his graph would be something like this. This is the straight line, that would be the graph of it, because the speed is constant, correct? Now once he reach B, again immediately he turns back and wants to come back at A. So again I can say that he will take the same time, 105 seconds more, after reaching at point B. So from 0 on the timeline, I can say that this will be 210 seconds, correct? Now his trajectory on the radar will be something like this, clear? Again, if I add 105, then definitely it would be say 315 seconds. So again, after 315 seconds, he would be at point B, right? So from here we can identify at every point we can identify what is the distance from both the end and how much time it took him to go to that particular distance. I hope this particular graph is very, very much clear, right? Now I have drawn for Nishant. Similarly, I will be drawing it for Rakesh also. Now Rakesh is starting from point B. So this is the position of Rakesh and his speed is 5 meter per second. Clear? Now the distance BA is again 210 only, and he is moving with 5 meter per second. So the time taken by Rakesh would be 210 divided by 5 or 42 seconds. Correct? So within 42 seconds only Rakesh would be at point A, and another 42 seconds will be again at point B, and this will keep on happening, right, at the interval of 42 seconds. So let me just change the color and draw the trajectory of Rakesh with the same logic of applying GPS on Rakesh, and we want to track him. So he will take say 42. So if this much is 105, so approximately somewhere here we can say that this is 42, right? So his trajectory would be something like this, right, on a radar. Again 42 seconds more after reaching at A, that is after 84 from the beginning, 84 seconds from the beginning, he will again be at point B. So we can say that this would be the another trajectory, and another 42 seconds if I add on 84, so it would be 106. So 105 is here, so approximately 106 would be here. Now these things do not need to be drawn as per scale, you can just approximate. The only thing you have to remember is that you have to write the larger number after the smaller number. So again his trajectory would be something like this. Clear? Now for this question itself we do not need to draw the further things. Now here we can see that these are the intersection points. This is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. So each of these intersection points is nothing but their respective distance from A and B and the time taken. So this intersection point, every time the time is same. So these are the meeting points, I would say. This is the first meeting point, this is the second meeting point, and this is the third meeting point. So this is the method through which we can solve the question easily. I hope this part is clear. I repeat, if you have not understood it, please rewind it and play it again. It's not that very difficult. The only thing is, it might happen that you are looking at it for the first time. That's why it may take some time to grasp the thing, right? So we have identified that this is the point where the third meeting has happened, but we need to find that how much time it took. In fact, we'll find out everything, the time and the distance both, right? Now let me mark some of the points. So let me see if this is A, let me mark this point to be C. This point, let me just change the color so that, say this point is C, this point is say D, and this point is say E. So this is D point, point E, point C, and this is point A, right? And suppose the third meeting point, this point is O. Now you can see that these two lines are parallel. So now applying geometry here, so we know that the two lines are parallel. So whenever there is a cross, these two triangles are similar. Clear? So we can say that this triangle DOE and triangle COA would be similar. Clear? Triangle DOE would be similar to triangle COA, right? Please focus on these two triangles only. I hope this is clear. Parallel lines, cross, two triangles, similar. Correct? Now if they are similar, then their corresponding every linear dimension would be in the same ratio. Now what is DE? This length DE is 105 minus 84, right? Because BD is 84 and BE is 105. So we can say that DE is 105 minus 84, which comes out to be 21. So this much is 21, and similarly AC is nothing but 126. So AC is 126. Now DE and AC are the corresponding sides. So we can say that their other linear dimension, for example, their corresponding height and everything will also be in the same ratios. And the ratio is 21 by 126, which is 1 by 6. That means if I drop a height which is passing through O for both of them, then we can say that this point is say P and this point is Q, then PQ would be equal to AB, which is 110. But PO over OQ, that is PO over OQ, would be 1 in a ratio 1:6, right? So what is PO then? Then PO would be 1 by 7 times, because this is one part this is 6 part, the total part is 7, and the total 7 part is 210. So we can say that PO would be one part out of the total, that is totally 7 of 210, which comes out to be 30 meter. That means this distance is 30 meter. Or we can say that after 84 minutes, Rakesh was at point D, and he traveled this much distance PO, that is 30 meter, and then he met with Brijesh for the third time, or Nishant for the third time. So the time taken for him to cover the distance PO would be 30 meter divided by his speed. His speed is 5 meter per second, which comes out to be 6 seconds. That means after 84 minutes, 6 seconds more he took to meet for the third time. So the third meeting happens after 84 plus 6, that is 90 seconds from the beginning, and that is the answer for this question. Guys, I repeat, you go back, rewind it, you'll understand it. Twice and thrice if you look it, you'll understand it, because this is the distance, more distance he has traveled. So we have not only identified the time they took to meet, we have also identified that where they have met. And that is the beauty of this particular method, because every point we can identify that if this is the point, that we can identify that what was the distance from A, what was the distance from B, and how much is the time taken for both of them individually. Also the meeting point, definitely the time would be same, as you can see that this is the second meeting point, and definitely this is the distance respectively from B and A, and this is the time taken by them, because the time, since they are meeting the intersection, both the time would be same. And this method is very applicable in any kind of questions where the two people are moving to and fro, and we need to ask we need to find the meeting point or the distance from respective end for any nth meeting points, right? Now let's take the next question to see further application of this. Now here the question says that there is a linear track AP with the length 350 meter, and there is a point C midway between A and B. And it further says that there are two people, Brijesh and Rakesh, and both are moving simultaneously from point A and B. That means Brijesh is starting from point A and Rakesh is starting from point B. And Brijesh is running between A and C only. He's not going from A to B. He's going from A to C, and he's coming back from C to A. And this is what he is doing, to and fro motion. But Rakesh, on the other hand, is moving from B to N and back to B. So he's taking the complete length AB, but Brijesh is taking half the length, I would say. The speed of the Brijesh is 5 meter per second, and the speed of Rakesh is 2 meter per second. So we need to find that in 35 minutes, how many times would they meet, right? So here again, I'll be using the GPS system. I'll have to just do a small manipulation here. So let me take the timeline. So this is the timeline, suppose, and say this is the point AB. So this is point A and this is point B. Now C is the point which is midway between here, right? So this is point C. So let me draw the timeline for C as well. From C again I am drawing a parallel line, which is the timeline. See, these all lines are same. The only thing is, for reference we are drawing it. Now Brijesh is starting from here, and his speed is 5 meter per second. And Rakesh is starting from this place, and his speed is 2 meter per second, right? Now let us just focus on Brijesh and draw his trajectory. So we'll apply GPS on Brijesh, and he is moving with 5 meter per second. Now distance AB is totally 350 meters. So I can say that AC and BC would be half of it each. So this would be 175 meter, and this would also be 175 meter. Now to cover 175 meter with a speed of 5 meter per second, Brijesh would take 175 by 5, which comes out to be 35, I think, yes, 35 seconds only, right? So in 35 seconds, Brijesh would be at point C, and another 35 seconds he will be again at point A, and this will keep on happening. So let us draw Brijesh's trajectory. So every of these different the interval is of 35 meters. So this is how Brijesh will keep on moving, right? So this is 35, this would be 70, this would be 105, again 35 we add, it will be 140, it would be 175, and it should be again 35 will be adding, it will be 210. This would be 245, 280, and at last there are two more times I have to draw. So it would be 315, and this would be 350. So these are the time interval in which bridges would be found either at point A or at point C, right? Starting from 0. Now let us focus on Rakesh. Now Rakesh is starting with 2 meter per second and he's moving from B to A. So the distance is 350 for him, and he's moving with a speed of 2 meter per second. So the total time taken for him to cover one lap, or in fact one entire length AB, would be 175 seconds. Now 175, if I want to find out, it would be this, right, just here. So if I draw a line, the trajectory of Rakesh, so it would be something like this. There might be some confusion also whether this point, because we are drawing it roughly, whether this point will fall on this or not. So it is very easy. BC is half the distance, right? It's 175. So it will take half the time to cover that. So if I divide 175 by 2 again, then it would be 87.5. So it will take this much of seconds to reach at point C. So this definitely number is greater than 35, 70 as well, and less than 105. So we have reasonably drawn a fair graph of the same. And again, this will be 175. Now again, on the next 175, he will take 130 seconds to reach at the other end. So we can draw this line. Like, fine. Now in this scenario, what has happened is that one cycle has been completed. That is, after 350 seconds, Bridges is again at the point A, and at the same time Rakesh is at point B. So this cycle will keep on repeating. That means this entire thing can again be done after 350 seconds. So this particular cycle will keep on repeating. So what we can see is that in 350 seconds, how much time they have met. So the number of times they have met is, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. I'm sorry, I've just missed this point as well. This would be the 6th point. So we can say that in 350 seconds, they meet for 6 times. So in 1 second, they won't meet for 6 by 350 times, but we need to find in 35 minutes. So 35 minutes, if I want to convert into seconds, I have to multiply it with 60. So it would be 6 into 350 into 35 into 6. So I think this would go 60, it would be. So 6, this would go out. So we are left with 36. So that means in 35 minutes, the number of meeting points would be 36. So guys, I hope that you people have understood the entire logic of this method, and you can apply whenever you come across such questions of 2 people moving. Even it can be applied for 3 people also, right? But I do not think that such complicated questions should come. But yes, now you are thoroughly ready to take any questions of such kind of any difficulty level.